You know, about 12 hours ago, I had a dream that I saw the Halo Infinite trailer footage for the first time.
Not registered.
And oh my goodness, it was the most glorious thing I've ever seen. I cannot actually believe 12 hours later that we are in this position, that we have confirmation against so many of our fears and also realization of so many of our dreams with this game. Like, I cannot explain how excited I am. Hello everybody, good morning from Hong Kong, good evening from America. Welcome to our latest episode. I think this is like episode 2 of myself and Kevin Hurd at HaloCollector's sort of podcast discussion. We're going to develop this into a full series over time, but right now while I'm in Hong Kong we don't have that much flexibility. We're going to just do these like live talk episodes and hopefully they're going to grow from there. So I'm joined by Kevin Hurd at HaloCollector today. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
it's an amazing time right now.
It's an amazing time, buddy. Like, oh my god, it's an amazing time. If you were to use one word to describe watching that 6 minutes for the first time, what would it be? Mine would be like awestruck, honestly. Like, honestly, awestruck.
Justified.
Justified. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. It's like, it's been such a tumultuous, is that a word? Tumultuous time? Because for the last year, you know, we've all stood still and waited. The Halo Infinite, you know, there'd been no footage until last year, so we really didn't know what to expect. We were all very nervous that the footage was coming out in July last year and the game was launching later that year. We're very, very nervous. But when it came out, I think a lot of our hopes were realized. You know, the art style was there. The open map was clearly there. A lot of the gameplay mechanics and like core sandbox materials seemed to be like really exciting. The grapple shot was awesome. But there was still a lot missing. The fact that the graphics were of a pretty poor quality and so much was still like rendering in the background. You know, it was clearly so unfinished that we were worried about the condition of the game, especially for launching in around December last year. When the year delay happened, personally, I was very happy about it. It gave me a lot more time to build up this YouTube channel, and also the game wasn't ready, so I was all about that delay. And now I think full circle, we can just see wholeheartedly that like this delay was so worth it, so worth it. Wow, first of all, good morning everybody in the chat. I hope you are well. Once again, we are experimenting with this audio between me and Kevin, so if you think that Kevin's audio needs to be raised or mine needs to be raised, maybe they're going a little dark. Alright, so welcome to the Silent Shadow Halo, Heavern, Dakota Hall, Blitzwing, Frosty848, Patches X8, Mark Fleming, Silver Cypher 84, and Unkillable Grunt. Good to see everybody this morning. Thank you so much for the support. Say what so that Simon can make a Silent Shadow armor. Are you? I've seen this a few times. Are you talking me making like a real life Silent Shadow, or are you talking me like making a Mega Constructs? Because either way, that sounds dope. Hey guys, should I get the Pelican inbound? Absolutely, but I've heard it's scalping quite a lot right now. I don't know if I'd pay more than like 150 US. The trailer makes me want it more, of course, yes. The game looks so good, I want to play it right now.
SWB audio capture, not registered.
Oh yeah, Silver Cypher 84, Dante Horn. Yeah, I have your map. I'm actually putting all the remaining things that I need to send to people together upstairs right now, don't worry. And if it doesn't arrive, I'll send you another one, don't worry. The hype for the campaign is so real. It really is. Good to see you here, TFS Remy. Good to see you here. Yeah, Kevin, wow. So much to talk about. How do you think our discussion yesterday, what do you think from our discussion yesterday was realized fully in that trailer? Because if people are tuning in right now, yesterday, about 24 hours earlier, me and Kevin had another live stream discussion where we basically predicted what we thought would be there and what we hoped would be there. So, Kevin, what did we hit right on the head? What did we get right?
I think think we hit about 50%. Really, I mean,
Yep.
you know, we're talking about traveling around and the scope of it and the basic premise of like going around and rescuing people and
Yeah.
we were talking. We got on about new enemies and it looks awesome.
It looks so awesome, dude. I made a YouTube Shorts video yesterday with my top 3 hopes for the game. The first one was a fully traversable map with unlockable map towers, dozens of collectibles, and bases that can swing left and right between like UNSC and Banished Control. My second was a respect for the previous lore, like not undoing everything that happened with Halo 5 Guardians and like moving forward in a positive, progressive way. And the third, I should have wrote it down. I can't even think on the spot. But the most important one was the fact that they respected the previous. They seem to really have respected the previous 20 years. They seem to have kept some of the gameplay mechanics that 343 implemented, like the thruster. They seem to have brought in like that 343 era of Forerunners with the Harbinger, which I know you have a lot to say about, Kevin. And they even seem to have brought in some new factions as well. Yeah, my last point in the YouTube short was diversification of species, that we need some new species because we've been fighting the same ones for 20 years, and we also need some a diversification of existing species like heavily armored brutes or things like pack mule grunts. And we even saw footage of a brute boss battle, and not even a major brute boss battle, like just a normal one with a friggin' health bar and a name above the brute, like who you're fighting. I cannot explain. It's just so great. It's so great. All right, so why don't we start with the open world aspect? Just how big do we think this is actually going to be, Kevin?
I think it's going to be pretty big. I mean, it's not going to be Minecraft, but I think we're going to be able to traverse quite a bit of area.
Yeah.
Hopefully there won't be too many invisible walls or anything like that.
Yes.
I would love to be able to, get in a flying vehicle and swoop over the canyons and then dive down into them and, stir things. And it looks like that's a possibility.
Yeah. I think the last remaining piece of the puzzle is just what is the scale of this game. That is not entirely evident yet. They're showing off biomes. I'm always cautious with things like that. When I played Pokemon Sword and Shield for the first time, I was really excited by the trailer where they showed off a crazy amount of biomes. But then when you go into the game, the biomes are tiny. You can move between like rainfall, snowfall, and a sandstorm within like 30 seconds. So it's something that I'm a little cautious of. Right now, it looks like the open world is going to be massive. And like you said, you hit on you hit a couple of points there. It's not going to be like Minecraft. It's not going to be like replicating. It's not going to be that scale. But then I'm sure you've watched one of those YouTube videos, Kevin, where they show off the scale of each open world map from different games, and they like compare them next side by side. I wonder where Halo Infinite will fall into that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And will there be a ton of just invisible walls that you just crash into? And then if these what would you call these hexagon, and like can I traverse that cave, or is it all going to take place on the surface level between different bases?
The one thing I hope is if they have areas blocked off, it's off in such a way that is coherent in the story and not just like, oh, this is a bad zone, turn around. Maybe the zone, maybe you fly over a zone you're not supposed to be in yet, and a whole bunch of anti-aircraft attacks happen, and so you're forced to get out of there. But it isn't just oh, you need to magically turn around for some reason.
Yeah, I hear that. They could have like sentinel repair zones where like if you go anywhere near it, just like a million sentinels just blow you up. There could be a lot of like killed by the guardians kind of thing, like just sort of torpedoes start shooting out the ground, and there could be it could be as simple as like. And that's really one of the big tasks with open world. Is it open world or is it true open world? Because you have things like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can just walk straight to the final boss and take him down. It's not an issue. It's going to be really difficult, but you can do it. But then there's certain open world games, say, like, I go back to Pokemon. Pokemon likes to claim like it's an open world, but it's the most insanely linear thing in the world. And like every one of the games, you'll get into a town, and there'll be 3 roads coming out of the town. One will be blocked by a Snorlax, like a big sleeping Pokemon, all the time, and they're just like, oh, it's sleeping on the road, you gotta come back later. And then there'll always be construction work on one of the roads, and they're like, oh, sorry, we're constructing. And I'm like, you can't just construct a road into another town. Like, you can't just block off that town for like a month. What are you talking about? But anyway, yeah, so like Pokemon is super linear like that. I think Halo Infinite might be an in-between. I think there might be certain sections of the ring that the second you fly out of that section, it comes on with one of those red timers coming down from 10, and the weapon will sort of say, it's time to turn back and get back in the fight, Spartan. You know what I mean? There might be some of that.
What is it? Sandstorm does it, where here's in this dune area, and there's basically signs or posts everywhere, and you walk out of that and you start hitting that minefield. So it's just not a magic, like force field or something. Also,
SWB audio capture not registered.
Had the Covenant turrets on it.
Yeah,
and if you out of the boundary, the Covenant turrets would automatically kick in and shoot you dead.
Yes, man. I could definitely see like the Guardians just being a thing. We're gonna get into. I've seen a lot of comments about characters and things spotted in the trailer. There is so much to break down. First of all, I'll pull this image up on the screen in case people haven't seen it yet. Atriox has been seen in the trailer, only in holographic form, but he's still been seen. So it's likely he'll be maybe like a Prophet of Truth hologram, just like telling his troops to keep going. But yeah, he's definitely in the trailer, so that's dope. There he is, the big baddie. And yeah, we'll talk about characters. First of all, in the background of one of the shots, it seems like you can see a downed Guardian, which would go back into the story. We'll talk about the characters for a second, then we'll talk about the story. And again, I do want to read as many YouTube comments as possible. I'll get to a few of them in a second. We can see that there's a downed Guardian, or what looks like a downed Guardian in one of the scenes. We can definitely see some new characters. When I said yesterday one of my main goals or one of my main ambitions for the game is to have new enemies, because we do need some new enemies. We have the new skimmers, and yes, I saw a comment, the skimmers are trying to take out a monitor. So there'll definitely be a monitor of Zeta Halo, right? So we'll definitely meet that monitor. And we can see that the skimmers are trying to damage the monitor. Maybe the Master Chief rescues the monitor and then it sides with him. We also see Jago Radama for the first time. Oh my god. That elite looks like outrageous.
WB audio capture not registered.
That was like a Boba Fett moment. Like that guy is going to be badass.
Yeah. I could see him being like as popular as Atriox in the future. There's a silent shadow in Shadows of Reach that is just like so badass. And it's exactly the voice and appearance we all expected from Jaeger. And then there's the Harbinger of Truth. The Harbinger of Truth says that the Forerunners' lies are at an end, and you are not the future. aiming at the Master Chief. So we don't know what that is. Kevin, why don't you go into your concerns about the Harbinger, what you told me earlier?
I'm hoping it's not a new alien or just a forerunner, or that it's my ideal is that she is an ancient human that was experimented on in the Palace of Pain.
Ooh, wow.
In the Palace of Pain, they were trying to figure out how to protect against the flood by experimenting on humans. And so, they would have been working with composer technology, other biomechanical type things. And there's probably, a few subjects that are locked in that facility, in stasis or something that, hey, with all this battle and happening outside and stuff, and the banished, opening up stuff. Guess what? They uncorked
SWB audio capture not registered
human experiment.
Ooh, that sounds really cool. We also need to remember in the Halo Infinite campaign trailer last year. Was it Hyperius? No, it was Ecrium. Yeah, Eshrium. Eshrium says that the Harbinger and the Banished share the same goal. Maybe that goal is to wipe out humanity, or maybe that goal is to activate the ring. Who knows? So that's a lot of characters. Kevin, you also said that you were kind of disappointed that there was like a new Forerunner, essentially. Like, we've already got enough of them.
Yeah, I just didn't want another didact. I kind of was going on that. I'd like to have some of the characters that have already been introduced, some of their things tied up before creating new strings to pull on.
Yeah.
But this one definitely looks very interesting, and I'm definitely can't wait to see what string is pulled with the new villain.
Yeah. The beautiful thing I've realized now about this campaign is that it could last up to 10 years, as 343 have said. So if it does, 343 just has the perfect opportunity to just bring in yearly campaigns that round up loose ties of, the Halo universe. Like, we could have a year where the Didact returns to Zeta Halo and unleashes creatures from the Palace of Pain, or brings forward a new Promethean army. There are so many loose ties. We also don't know how the Master Chief found Requiem, how he was just floating through slip space and just came upon Requiem. We also don't know how the Spirit of Fire just came upon the Ark. There's no possible way that they could have just floated there. So they were brought there by slip space jump, even though their slip space drive was missing, and the Chief essentially the same thing. So there are a lot of things here. Yeah.
One thing I want to say though is, we shouldn't say that Infinite is always going to be on Zeta Halo. I mean, we could very well, maybe a season, a new Halo, or maybe there's type of jump gates which were mentioned in the books where they're trying to get banished from the Ark to the galaxy because the first one was cut off. So hope maybe there's going to be even more rings that we'll need to set forth on and find, or even back to the Ark.
It's almost as if the possibilities are infinite. You know what I'm saying?
Almost.
So very exciting stuff. Let's read some comments out. Yeah, the Silent Shadow Halo says, I want a Silent Shadow set. There will definitely be a Mega Construct Silent Shadow set. There will definitely be a Jaeger Redeemer very soon. Frosty Ape, every vehicle players chill until a brute pulls out a skewer. You're right about that. I mean, you saw my upload to the domain about 12 hours ago. That moment where the chief skewers, he's flying, he jumps out, he skewers a Banshee, he boards the other Banshee with a grapple shot. It's the most insane Halo clip I've ever seen. It's absolutely outrageous. Bobster117. Imagine if we get a playable prologue where it's the ending of Reach, but you're Master Chief and see all the Spartans from Halo 5 fall before you as you try to hold off the Banished. I think it's kind of possible. Marcus75, I think Locke dying would be great for story, but not because he's unliked, but because it would show how for any of Osiris team would be a massive disrespect to Halo 5 story, which I know sounds hilarious. Halo 5 story is not good, but it needs to be respected in the lore, I think, as much as any other. So, Unkillable Grunt, I forgot, what is Silent Shadow? Silent Shadow is a band of mercenaries. Are they known as Spartan killers? They dress all in black. There's a lot of additional lore you can find in the books about them, or on Halopedia. And there's a new Silent Shadow. The first ever Silent Shadow we've seen on screen, a Jaeger Redeemer that was showed off. And there's one mentioned in Shadows of Reach as well. Yes, okay. What did you leave? Oh, Silent Shadow, okay. Cool. Will I be able to watch this later after it ends? You absolutely will, Silver Cypher. This is basically available as a podcast afterwards. Just refresh the video. Yeah. I'm noticing the chat on Killable Grunt. I'm getting there. There's so much to talk about today, honestly. There's so much to talk about. Okay, here we go. The Gaming Bricks. Let's answer this. He says, what's your guys' opinions on the upgrade features? Call-in vehicles and FOBs. It'll definitely be fun, but I'm not sure how it'll interface with the story and overall flow of the game. Kevin, what do you think about the skill tree that was shown off with the Master Chief?
I'm okay with that. I kind of like it.
SWB audio capture not registered.
How to present yourself, you know, are you going to brute force? Are you going to sneak in? Are you more of a sly person? Yeah, I think that it's not bad at all. I love it.
No, I think it's fantastic. It's so fantastic because what you want from an open world every time is to start off average and get stronger and stronger, faster and faster. Because, you know, at first you're wandering through the world and you're taking your time, but then by the end you want to get things done. You want to take these bases. You want to be really powerful. So I love it. And the unlockable skill tree is also fantastic because every season they could add new equipment. They could bring back the bubble shield. They could bring back armor lock. I know that's going to be an unpopular one. They could bring back holograms. Like, they could do anything. So I'm all about it. And then, well, oh yeah, go on.
It's interesting too because if you look at Master Chief's armor, even the original, he's got hard points for things to attack to and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's here we're actually, you know, finally like seeing like more of what would happen with armor. Oh, you would be like, oh, I want this time, and
you absolutely would. Yeah. I don't know. The skill tree kind of looks like you'll just fully upgrade everything versus like, you know, picking and choosing what you want to play with. But I guess how quickly you upgrade it is up to you. And the call-in vehicles is obviously outstanding. I mean, that's just perfect. I did wonder when he calls in the Wasp, he specifically looks straight ahead so the Pelican can come directly under him. But if you looked at the sky, would the Pelican just spawn, or would you see it like flying through the clouds? I don't know.
SWB
also, when he's spawning in those vehicles, you can see a lot of huge capital ships in the background. I kind of assume they're banished, but I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Frosty Ape, I'm so excited for the campaign, even though I barely understand the Halo story. Go to Halo Canon. Halo Canon will teach you the ways. I love to see the chopper returning too, Hi Vern, absolutely. I can't wait to get all of these in Mega Block sets. Yes, Mark Fleming, 100%. I mean, we'll get so many of these bosses. We'll get so many of these, like, equipments and, oh goodness, like banished bases, and I'm so excited. I really want a banished Phantom Mega Construct set. Anyone else agree? I would, oh, also, the meme. You want to talk about the meme? The fact that the Master Chief saves those Marines, and he says, "You're safe now," and then they get in a Warthog, and he just bombs off a cliff. Like, what? Like, no, those Marines are not going to be able to take that fall damage. Like, what? They're going to break their shins. You're never going to make it. No. The gaming bricks. It would be great for a signature series set. We need a new Phantom. Kevin, what do you think? I feel like the signature series is a thing of the past.
For big capital ships, I think a Phantom would still fall under just a big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
set is a signature set.
Yeah. I find it funny that Mega Constructs never really branded the Pelican as a signature series set because it was so massive and it had such wonderful presentation. But I feel like the signature set, they want it to be like a supply and demand thing. They want it to be limited. So no, the Phantom would just be general release. I still think within the next 6 months we will definitely get a banished Phantom from Mega Constructs. We'll see. But yeah, it would be cool. I definitely you're right there, Kevin. If they did another capital ship, I think it would definitely be a signature build. Yeah. What do you think about the 2022 sets? Unkillable Grunt says they are cool, but not as cool as the 2020 sets. I actually think they're way better than 2020. 2020 didn't actually get much at all. A lot of opinions on why that is. Yeah, supply and demand, right? Oh no, I mean chain supply issues.
Yeah, everybody's been facing the supply issues and, just the cost of getting stuff out. And we can expect that, there was a little bit of a change because of that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So we don't have the largest amount of time today, but we've covered a lot of our opinions. Before we leave today, I would like the chat. We've still got a couple more things to talk about, but I would also like the chat right now to rate the footage you saw out of 100. Comment down below, rate the footage you saw yesterday, the 6-minute overview trailer. Rate it out of 100. Kevin, what would your rating be?
I'd be like 80, 85.
Yeah, I'd be like 92, dude. Like, I would be like 92, 95. The only things that would drop it like by 5 points is I don't know the scale of the map yet. And there were a couple of slight render issues, but I think it was okay. There were a couple of moments where like the camera was panning around and it would glitch slightly. And I honestly feel like that might have been intentional for 343 to like make it clear that like there are some things that need to still be worked on. Like, it doesn't... You don't want something to look so perfectly polished that when people play it, they're like, hey, this is not what you advertised. So I think there was a little bit of that. Blitzwing, 912-719-926-381-073. Wow. Okay, it's awesome votes, 90. Nice. Frosty Ape, 95 out of 100. Just needs Victor. Nice. Hyver, 91. Philo, a good 100. Very nice, bro. Very nice. Very nice. The last thing I want to talk about today in detail, Kevin, is the ramifications of the story. So, we still don't know the greatest deal about the story. We just know that the Banished are on the ring. It seems like they've had a long time to set this up. Probably similar to the Ark, really. That the humans were wiped out there and the Banished have been like setting up camp for a long time. You remember last year, it said, what was it, 300 days since we lost, or 150, what was it, at the beginning of the trailer last year? It said, like, a long time since we lost.
Yeah, I think the AI, like, it was, what, 300 days?
About 300 days, yeah. Yeah, the question was, since what? Since when? Like, Chief wasn't flown in space for 300 days. Do you think it was since Cortana activated the Guardians, or what?
She said it's been 6 months. I'm sorry about that.
Oh yeah, go on. Sorry. So, oh yeah. Oh right. Oh, the weapon you're saying.
The weapon, yes.
So, or maybe 6 months since she'd just seen the chief last. So there might have been. I think at the start of the trailer last year it said 300 days since we'd lost. My prediction there was always that it was 300 days since the Guardian had the Guardians had all activated and Cortana had total control. So maybe like 300 days. I'll have to check how long it had been in Shadows of Reach since Cortana had activated the Guardians. But my assumption is step 1, Cortana activates all the Guardians. About 6 months later, the Chief and Blue Team and the Infinity are on Reach, and then a little bit after, I won't spoil Shadows of Reach, but a little bit after, maybe they find the Ark. I mean, maybe they find Zeta Halo, or maybe I think they might travel to Zeta Halo, unexpecting the Banished to be there, and the Banished just go all guns a-blazing and wipe them out. And then maybe it's like a couple of months that the Chief and Brohammer are like salvaging on the ground. But they say that the first mission of the game, they always said that Discover Hope was the first cutscene of the game, or like the first thing you're introduced to in the game. There might be a prologue before that, but like it might be the first cutscene. But then they were saying there that the first mission is retrieving the weapon. Now, is that the first mission of the game, or is that Chief's first mission on Zeta Halo? Like, it's not clear. I would very much think that, I don't know if you'd agree with me, Kevin, I think that they're going to go down the...
I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out a little.
Oh, it's all right. I think that they will do... Oh, look at that, Jerry Houston. $5, he rates it 100. Very nice, Jerry, very nice. Thanks for the support, bro. Yeah, what was I saying? Jerry distracted me. So I was saying, I think the start of Halo Infinite, the first mission, not Chief's first mission on the ring, but the first mission of the game will be on the Infinity as it's being invaded by the Banished. Just a direct parallel to Combat Evolved's opening of the Pillar of Autumn being invaded by the Covenant. What do you think?
That could be a possibility. There's a time jump right after that, that this time he didn't make it to the Ark.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. The weapon says it's been 6 months. So did the Infinity leave the weapon there to secure Cortana? And also the weapon says she was on Zeta Halo to secure Cortana. So at the end of Halo 5 Guardians, we see that Cortana has discovered a Halo ring in the legendary ending. That's probably Zeta Halo. If Cortana's discovered Zeta Halo, maybe the UNSC know that Zeta Halo is Cortana's main base of operations. Maybe the UNSC go there, drop the weapon on Zeta to lock down Cortana, essentially. That's why we see a downed Guardian, because Cortana has been locked down, or maybe not. And then somehow, maybe then the Banished invade and destroy the UNSC, but it's like, how long? Because the UNSC have to have then done something for 6 months for the Chief to then go back and find the weapon. So it's very questionable, like, because if the Banished had invaded straight away, because like, why did the UNSC take 6 months to get the weapon back? If the Banished invaded straight away, then there'd be no UNSC left after 6 months, right? They would have starved, or Chief would have suffocated in space. So that 6 months is a big question. Yeah, that is.
Well, SWP audio capture not registered.
They're trying to do, and by the books, if I'm correct, they are trying to find a way to get Atriox back to the universe, or the sect.
Yeah, because Atriox is trapped on the Ark right now, right?
Yeah.
the same way the Spirit of Fire is. And I've always said the Spirit of Fire could be DLC as well. Like, the Spirit of Fire could come in at some point. But then, of course, if the Banished come in from the Ark to Zeta Halo, they'll bring the Flood with them. So it's a big question. The Gaming Bricks, one thing I just want to know is what happened between Halo 5 and Infinite. I hope they don't explain that in a book. The Rubicon Protocol could be a protocol procedure for rampant AIs or malfunctioning AIs, AIs that have broken away from the UNSC. So if that was the case, then yeah, it could be a sandwich filler between Halo 5 and Infinite. Could definitely be. Yeah, so it's one of those. We're getting to the point where like we've got a lot of the pieces, and in terms of like games and game releases, they're not going to tell us everything before the game comes out. So this might be all the campaign information we have until launch.
It's not that far away.
No, 42 days? Yeah. It's hard to imagine that in the next 42 days I have to like move countries but still get ready for Halo Infinite. Oh, it's savage, man. It's savage. But yeah, it seems like all the pieces are falling into place. I'm gaining a lot of confidence. I mean, that's an under-exaggeration. I have a lot of confidence now in terms of the campaign. Yesterday's trailer was the last thing that I needed to see to have like full confidence in Halo Infinite overall. The multiplayer, yeah. Anybody I meet in Hong Kong, I'm telling them about like how fire the multiplayer is, So I know that's going to be legendary. I just need to see if the campaign would follow suit, because it had been delayed and we had no idea. But turns out 343 have absolutely nailed my expectations. Absolutely massive explorable areas, clearly lots of unlockables and choices of side missions, new species like the Skimmers, boss battles like Jago Radama, and then new interesting characters like the Harbinger of Truth, and what is set to be a campaign that also explores in detail what happened to Cortana, which is really what I wanted. One of my biggest concerns for the game was that we would just start with Cortana being locked down and there was no mystery. Cortana was just done. They just like wiped her away and started again. I would have been very disappointed with that. It's still yet to be seen what they're going to do with Osiris team, the Infinity and Locke. A point that I made yesterday, which I would like to stick by, is I would love to see sort of like Destiny 2, like at the beginning of the game you get scrambled and then you have to go and find each of the named characters from like distress beacons and like intel satellites or whatever. Yep. And you have to slowly piece your team back together. That would be so awesome. And then maybe even add your team as playable characters in co-op. Who knows? Like, wouldn't that be so sick? Hell yeah. This trailer makes me want a Jaeger Halo Heroes figure right now. That weapon, if they can make that sword and like hand knife, whatever it is, like sidearm, into like some like translucent red material, that'd be so sick, so sick. Yeah, the video game collector 117 has done a really great Jaeger custom. I saw, very, very cool. And Wildfire did one. Kevin, hello. Where did he go? Oh, hello. You broke up there. You broke up there. Well, Kevin, we're coming towards the end of our time for today, but I would just like to say, I'd like to give you the opportunity to say any more thoughts or hopes for the game, or just how satisfied you are. I am just like blown away by it, man. Absolutely blown away.
Yeah, I'm really, really satisfied with what we just saw. It's going to be an amazing game. My hopes have been met for the most part. I think 343 is made a winner.
Yes, they really have made a total winner here. Yeah, We haven't even touched upon things like the brutes being able to pick up UNSC weapons, and the absolute scale of like what boss battles we could face, like if they're gonna go down the Destiny route and have just like tons and tons of named characters with different health bars. There is so much. There is so much on the horizon. So, guys, for everyone that's sticking with the stream, thank you so much for your support. And this is kind of episode 2 of me and Kevin's experimental, just sort of like sit-down podcast, just open discussion forum format. So if you really like this kind of idea, please do make sure to like this video. Once the stream is ended, refresh it and leave a public comment. That would really help just get this video out to the masses. And thanks so much for your support, everybody. It's been a really crazy 12 hours. I uploaded 4 videos to my new account, Daily Halo. I'm gonna Asware reviews. Topic you would like us to talk about next, because we're gonna do this quite regularly, eh? All right, so Kevin, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Shout out to Halo Infinite. Shout out to Jerry Houston. Thanks for the support. Everybody, you stay awesome. You stay safe out there. The Domain and HaloCollector are signing off.